One Zambia, one nation, and welcome to Zanis News. We look at the top stories in the news. President Hichilema graces African Trade Insurance in Davao. Zambia International Trade Fair in Dola opens gates to the public. Plus in sports news, Zambia national team off to South Africa for Safa. Well, with the main news in detail, my name is Margaret Kangwa and my sign language interpreter is Imelda Mulea. President Hakainde Hichilema has called for increased investor commitments in financing investment opportunities in key economic sectors of the economy impacted by climate change. And speaking when he officiated at the 24th Annual General Meeting of the African Trade and Investment Development Insurance Agency, Mr. Hichilema further called for increased integration among African countries in mitigating economic risk challenges exacerbated by climate change. Details in this report.
President Hakainde Hichilema this afternoon officially opened the 24th Annual General Meeting for the African Trade and Investment Development (ATIDI) in Livingstone in Southern Province. In his keynote address, President Hichilema emphasized on the importance of the ATIDI.
This business is important because of what its mission then was and still is today, to assist our economies, businesses, trade houses. And I'm glad that we added on investment and development to it. I'm very, very happy that that was decided subsequently, but to assist our economies to grow.
The chairperson of the ATIDI Board of Directors explained the role of the institution.
Confidence is the foundation upon which successful businesses, vibrant economies, and thriving communities are built. It is the bedrock of stability and the catalyst for growth. At ATIDI, we understand the importance of nurturing confidence in Africa's economic potential through our innovative insurance solutions and risk mitigation strategies. We have provided vital support to businesses, both large and small, enabling them to navigate uncertainties and seize opportunities with confidence.
And the host finance minister stated the role of ATIDI in the development agenda.
Bank who are shareholders, such as the Afrexim Bank, including private institutions, with the exception that ATIDI, as it focuses on this Pan-African journey of providing financial assistance and development, it focuses on the area of providing insurance for trade and investment, which is very important for us because we are all fighting poverty. To fight poverty, you need investment, and you also need trade so that surplus production that you create can be exported. So ATIDI really is a very important piece of instrument in the development agenda to fight poverty by providing insurance or providing risk solutions to trade and investment.
The annual general meeting has been attended by 24 member countries. Wambaweke for Zanis in Livingstone, Southern Province.
And our Vice President Mutale Nalumango has called for concerted efforts by women police officers to combat gender-based violence against women. Mrs. Nalumango notes more than a third of women and girls in Zambia have experienced physical abuse, while 17% have faced sexual violence from their loved ones. Sharon Walia reports that the Vice President said this during the first ever Zambia Police Women's Leadership Conference held in Lusaka today.
Vice President Mutanela Lumango has commended the Zambia Police Service for its commitment in promoting gender equity and participation of women in decision-making positions. Ms. Nalumango says the service has continued to demonstrate dedication in fostering a culture of inclusion, support, and collaboration within the ranks and file of women police officers. Ms. Nalumango made these remarks during the first ever Zambia Police Women Leadership Conference in Lusaka.
I wish to commend the Zambia Police Service for its commitment to reciprocate the government's effort on promoting gender equality and the participation of women in decision-making positions at all levels. More than a third of all women and girls in Zambia have experienced physical abuse in their lives, and 17% of women have experienced sexual violence at the hands of a loved one. These gender inequalities disproportionately affect women's and girls' lives. Therefore, as women officers, you must show empathy towards women and girls who report at the police stations seeking assistance. The command should invest in women officers as criminal investigations officers in cyber fraud, and gender-based violence in order to have a society free of such crimes.
The Zambia Police leadership has called for more interventions to ensure more women are included in decision-making positions.
Despite the efforts by Police High Command to improve the gender parity in the institution, a lot more needs to be done. When you look at the statistics, you will note that the strength for the Zambia Police Service stands at 20,774, out of which 14,283 are male, while 6,491 are female. Out of the 6,491 female police officers, only a few are in key decision-making positions, as follows. Out of 3 Deputy Inspector Generals of Police, only 1 is female, representing 33.3%. Out of 13 commissioners, only 3 are female, representing 23.1%. Out of 24 Deputy Commissioners of Police, only 2 are female, representing 8.3%. Out of 24 Senior Assistant Commissioners of Police, only 4 are female, representing 16.7%. Out of 101 Assistant Commissioners of Police, only 21 are female, representing 20.8%. From these figures, it is very clear that we need to do more to ensure that female police officers are adequately represented in all key decision-making positions.
I wish to assure our gallant women in uniform that my ministry will continue to support them by investing in training programs that focus on building leadership, teamwork, communication, and collaboration skills. This will ensure police women have the necessary skills and knowledge to serve with confidence in networking opportunities and partnerships with other law enforcement agencies.
The Canadian government has recognized the Zambia Police women that have participated in peacemaking activities.
The Canadian police actually came and worked then with Zambian trainers to train Zambia's police women about how to take those UN exams. And we're super proud in 2022, which was the last time this happened, the pass rates for women to pass the United Nations exams to deploy on peacekeeping missions went from about 20% to over 90%. Zambia was chosen because you were already a leader in deploying women into peacekeeping operations. So you're actually a trailblazer in the region, and I think your numbers beat Canada's as well. But women make up over 40% of your deployments to UN peacekeeping missions.
The conference also saw the launch of a revised Women Network Constitution for the Zambia Police Service, an initiative aimed at fostering inclusion, support, and collaboration among women officers. Sharon Wale reporting for Zanis in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, a delegation of Arab contractors from the Republic of Egypt has arrived in Zambia ahead of the business investment meetings with various government ministries in the country. The delegation's visit to Zambia follows the successful investment engagement meetings the Luapula Province administration undertook with the Egyptian African Business Association in Cairo, Egypt in January this year. More in this report.
Following the successful investment engagement meetings, the Luapula Provincial Administration held with the Egyptian African Business Association in Cairo, Egypt, from the 28th to 31st January 2024, a team from the Arab contractors from the Republic of Egypt have arrived in Zambia ahead of the business meetings with various government ministries. Welcoming the team at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport in Lusaka was Luapula Province Minister Henry Skazu and his delegation.
We have some projects there that we want to look at, and we believe that you'll be interested as well. You know, we are talking about the roads and also water and also energy. Yeah, so I think when our colleagues will do the presentation to you, you'll be able to pick what you can do. This is what we are doing when we came last time.
They will also visit the PPP office, where they will also have a meeting with our team at PPP, because we anticipate that some of these projects may go the PPP way with the delegation.
Meanwhile, Arab Contractors Head of Business Development and Strategic Studies Department says the team looks forward to successful meetings. The delegation is scheduled to have several meetings with various ministries, among them the Ministry of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development, Ministry of Transport and Logistics, and the Ministry of Energy. Pamela Inamba reporting for Zanis in Lusaka Province.
We now take a break. Join us shortly for more interesting stories.
The Issue is a program that looks at topical issues happening in the country. Watch The Issue every Friday at 19:30 hours, only on Zanis TV, Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH on Topstar. Don't miss.
Now, Minister of Agriculture Ruben Mutolo says government is making strides towards providing access to finance for smallholder farmers across the country. Mr. Mutolo explains that with the introduction of the Sustainable Agriculture Financing Facility and the 2023 to 2024 agriculture season, progress has been made in providing financial support to farmers for increased production. The minister was speaking at the 2024 Agriculture Finance Conference in Lusaka today. Rupe Sendwe has more in this report.
Zambia's agriculture sector has potential to become an engine of economic growth and poverty alleviation. However, the recent drought has had severe effects on the sector, leading to low agriculture production. This is why the 2024 Agriculture Finance Conference has focused its discussions on building resilience among farmers by enhancing agriculture finance resources and insurance. Minister of Agriculture Ruben Mutolo graced the event, calling for partnerships to promote financial literacy.
Despite rural areas hosting the majority of our farmers, financial inclusion remains a key challenge. And according to the 2020 FinScope survey conducted by the Bank of Zambia, and I think they're here, we were given figures which are indicating that 55.9% are financially included in rural areas, compared to almost 90% of the urban areas. I think we can do better. Part of the solution is for government working with cooperating partners to intensively promote financial literacy amongst our people in rural areas. When our farmers are given the appropriate financial knowledge, they can demand for access to the different finance products.
Cooperating partners pledged their commitment to work with the government in an effort to transform the sector.
WFP recognizes the vital role access to finance plays in achieving food and nutrition security and resilience building for smallholder farmers. We are aware of the barriers that hinder access to finance, especially for women and youth. The conference, therefore, renews our hope that through collaboration, we can fight hunger and the negative effects of climate change and other shocks that affect our smallholder farmers.
Climate insurance is just only one option. We need multiple interventions to strengthen resilience of our farmers. This includes access to water for irrigation, crop diversification, mechanization, access to finance and information, as well as initiatives such as the Sustainable Agriculture Financing Facility. I can assure you today that Germans Development Corporation will continue to support the Zambian government to develop this particular facility.
The conference is being held under the theme, Strengthening Agriculture Resilience, Tailored Financial Products and Insurance Services for Smallholder Farmers to Adapt to Climate-Induced Shocks. Wopesendo for Zanis in Lusaka.
The 58th edition of the International Trade Fair in Ndola on the Luapula Province has opened its gates to the public. The event has attracted firms and business enterprises from all sectors of the economy. More in the following report.
The 58th edition of the Zambia International Trade Fair has opened in Ndola. The event showcases various commercial entities from all sectors. The theme for this year's trade fair is unlocking economic potential through collaborations and partnerships. Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister says the 58th edition of the trade fair presents an opportunity for enterprises to form joint ventures and enterprises.
There is no any other way, colleagues, we can build our economy to be resilient against any other shocks if we do not learn to work together. It's a time when politics were put aside, out of business, and we brought the ability to grow our economies together collectively. And this can only be achieved through partnerships and joint ventures, starting with ourselves as a public. It's a more reason why we've got this trade fair today. And the theme is talking about collaboration through partnerships. And this is the only way we can do this. So it is this call that as we open the gates to the trade fair, the exhibitors, the show goers who have come themselves, the coming to patronage here, they have to have something in mind, that they are not just coming to fulfill a calendar, but there will be a takeaway that will improve their business activity. Most important.
Meanwhile, Small and Medium Enterprises Minister says the 58th edition of the trade fair presents an opportunity for SMEs to grow and network.
Have small businesses here, the SMEs, I think they are more than the bigger companies. And the theme is speaking to what we are talking about as government, that we need to work as a team, we need to work as partners. We are encouraging the joint ventures, and for the SME sector, this is your time to find your way in supplying chain, in the mining, houses. This is the time to build your networks. This is the time to see what commodity, what service can you render to the bigger companies. And that's why I'm with my colleague here, the Minister for Commerce. We work as a team. We want to bring the smaller businesses to get into bigger players.
President Hakainde Hichilema is this Saturday expected to grace the event, which will run up to July 2024. Sheolin Mutinda, Zanis, Ndola.
Now, ZCCM Investments Holdings says it has partnered with Kariba Minerals of Mapatizia in Southern Province and Puma Energy to produce 200 kilowatts of solar energy in order to power the mining industry as a response to the adverse effects of climate change. And ZCCM Investment Holdings Corporate Affairs Manager Loisa Mbata states that the 200 kilowatt solar energy being produced by Kariba Minerals is now operating off-grid to power the mines, which were largely dependent on hydro energy. And speaking at this year's 58th Zambia International Trade Fair in Ndola today, Ms. Mbata also explained that the mining sector is poised to boost the economic outlook of the country. Details in this report.
As the 58th Zambia International Trade Fair opens its doors to the public in Ndola on the Copper Belt, various stakeholders have highlighted some of the services that they are showcasing to the public. ZCCM Investments Holdings PLC Corporate Affairs Manager Loisa Mbata highlighted some of the strides the investment is making to promote the mining sector in the country.
In Kariba, in Mapatizia, Kariba Minerals, we've partnered with Puma Energy to produce 200 kVA of solar energy to power the processing and the mine itself. So it's solely operating off-grid, and we've partnered with, and they've set up a 200 kVA, and just a month ago, some few weeks ago actually, it was commissioned and it's operating to power the mine. And so renewable energy is the right way to go, and you heard the head of state emphasizing on that the business community, the private sector should go that direction.
Ms. Mbata also explained how ZCCM Investments Holdings is interpreting this year's 58th Zambia International Trade Fair theme, which is unlocking economic potential through collaboration and partnerships.
This theme is very critical and timely, and as an investment holding company, we are about partnership and collaboration. Now, for a very long time, we keep singing the song, Zambia has got potential in terms of minerals that we have as a country. As ZCCM, we are turning this potential into reality. So we are looking at unlocking economic potential through partnerships. If you look at just recently, last month, where we partnered, we brought in a strategic equity partner, for instance, in Mopani Copper Mines, that's International Resources Holdings through Delta Mining, who now have 51% in Mopani.
And Zambia Electricity Supply Corporation ZESCO Copper Belt Senior Regional Manager Tom Daka also outlined what the power utility company is doing in mitigating climate change.
Issues of looking at alternative sources of energy is one of the things that we're also showcasing at this year's trade fair. The issue of net metering is one of the key things that we are showcasing. Net metering basically allows you, as the end user of power, to generate using other sources of energy, which can also be offloaded onto the ZESCO network. So by so doing, you are freeing the energy that you're supposed to draw from the grid. And over and above that, you're also injecting into the ZESCO system. So it is a win.
He also cautioned the public to avoid illegal connections and vandalism
of our assets. And as a company, we are losing a lot of money out of this vandalism. We have seen, like on the Copper Belt, we have lost quite a number of assets in terms of cables, transformers, duplex cables, conductors, so on and so forth. So we're just...
President Hakainde Hichilema is this Saturday expected to officially open the Zambia International Trade Fair in Ndola. Sandra for Zanis in Ndola, Luapula Province.
And our government is constructing 8 boarding secondary schools under the second phase of the Zambia Education Enhancement Program in Luapula Province. Luapula Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Prudence Chinama has since launched the construction of the schools. More in the following report by Teddy Malungo.
Following the introduction of the free education policy by government, the demand for classroom space has continued to increase. Programs such as the Zambia Educational Enhancement Program that has already seen a number of schools being built in Phase 1 will help increase classroom space for learners to answer to the increasing demand. In Luapula Province, under Phase 2 of the program, 8 schools are earmarked to be built, and Luapula Province Deputy Permanent Secretary has since launched the construction of the schools at Fivale in Mansa.
The government of the Republic of Zambia has embarked on the construction of 120 secondary schools countrywide through Zambia Educational Enhancement Projects, ZIP, with support from the World Bank. Luapula Province has a share of 8 secondary schools which will be constructed in 7 districts. These 8 projects have the total estimated cost of 140,306,551.21 Ngwe. These schools will be furnished with appropriate furniture and equipment. One of the commitments of the New Dawn government made for education sector, apart from the free education provision, is to increase access to education for learners at secondary level. Today we are seeing the commitment as a reality. Our children today will have no excuse for failure to attend secondary school education because learning spaces are being increased.
Let me announce that this launch is a provincial launch. Tunofunete launching akuno twabikira mu Mansapati Valley kile imi nakona wonse kyema districts Zambia Safa. Iyo ikesa kwe minimum there will be no room which will be left without any equipment or anything that is supposed to be used. Nani classroom napa kuikala na chalkboard napa kusambira. Ngama computer laboratory asambira yabiri na computer mwe. If it's a sciences or the equipment, that is the rule.
To the traditional leadership, uninterrupted development that will benefit the people is all they want.
I gave out these 25 hectares of land to Ministry of Education. These projects will not only benefit the surrounding communities, but the entire people of Luapula Province and the national at large.
Teddy Malungo reporting for Zanis News in Mansa District in Luapula Province.
Let's now take our second break. Stay tuned.
Woman Thou Art is a program that offers counsel to the female folk, sharing real-life experiences and providing guidance to the women and young girls on necessary steps and conducts that will help shape and nurture a sober society. Watch Woman Thou Art on Zanis TV every Wednesday at 18:30 hours on the Topster channel, channel 6 DTT and channel 458 DTH.
We continue with other news. Now, Luwingu Town Council Chairperson Rodriguez Mulenga says the local authorities in Northern Province have the capacity to implement projects under the Constituents Development Fund CDF. And speaking in an interview with Zanis, Mr. Mulenga says this is evident by the good workmanship exhibited on several projects in various constituencies. Mr. Mulenga, who is also Vice President of the Local Government Association of Zambia Northern Chapter, however, encouraged local authorities to intensify monitoring of the projects. Mr. Mulenga stated that the lack of supervision makes projects vulnerable to various risks. He also expressed gratitude to local contractors for the good workmanship exhibited in the projects that were recently commissioned under the Lubansenshi constituents of Luwingu District.
We have the much needed capacity. We have what it takes to implement CDF, to supervise CDF, to monitor CDF, and even to evaluate such actual products that are coming, from CDF. So we are very much pleased, and I want to also take this opportunity to speak to the nation to encourage my colleagues in other local authorities that it is important to provide leadership. We need to take keen interest in these projects. What is happening? What is management doing? Our various managements in these local authorities. Are we supervising? Are we ensuring that things are done properly? We don't leave it entirely to management. As leaders, we are there to check on what they are doing.
The news continues. Now, the Decentralization Secretariat has urged communities in Eastern Province to fully involve themselves in the implementation of Constituents Development Fund funded project. And speaking during a live radio program called City Chat on 3FM in Chipata, Decentralization Secretariat Assistant Director in charge of Institutional Capacity Development and Change Management, Moven Swana, said communities have a huge role to play in deciding the development they want to see in their respective communities. Details in this report.
The Decentralization Secretariat has implored communities in Eastern Province to take keen interest in projects being implemented using the Constituents Development Fund, CDF. Speaking during a live radio program called City Chat on 3FM in Chipata, Decentralization Secretariat Assistant Director in charge of Institutional Capacity Development and Change Management, Mova Senswana, indicated that under decentralization, communities have been given power to decide on the development they want to see in their respective areas. Dr. Nswana said communities must hold councils accountable if they are not delivering services to the community, adding that CDF funds must be evenly distributed so as to ensure that no ward is underdeveloped.
The people must talk. We call it local choices, local voices. We want the local voices to be louder. If they are not seeing the services, they should say, we are not seeing the services. If they have seen the services, they should be there to say, now we have seen the services.
And communication specialist at the Decentralization Secretariat, Twambo Siavwapa, said communities must take ownership of all the projects being implemented under CDF by way of monitoring the works. Mr. Siavwapa stressed that communities have a huge role to play in ensuring that contractors exhibit high levels of workmanship in the execution of CDF-funded projects.
Kuyanganira kugwilidwa kwa ntchito. It means that people must be interested. What kind of services are being offered at the local level? How has our road been graded by the council? What is the quality? How is the contractor operating? The citizens must hold the local authority accountable. The last one says, kuona kuti makanso agwilira antu ntchito moyenera. Quality. Even the issue of quality is now with the citizen.
During the same live radio program, Council Public Relations officers were urged to highlight CDF success stories, as this will help members of the public appreciate the benefits of devolution. For Zanis, I'm Lakson Makodza.
And some traders in Sesheke district of Western Province are allegedly reselling Zambia National Service meal at exorbitant price than a normal government price. Also in the news, Chief Chitoshi of the Lungu people of Lunta district has urged government and other potential investors to consider setting up a solar plant in his chiefdom. Speaking in an interview with Zanis in Lunte, Chief Chitoshi said his chiefdom has land that is ideal for a solar energy generation plant. He noted that there is a need to fully exploit other alternative sources of energy and like continuing to solely rely on hydropower. The chief reiterated the call by President Hakainde Hichilema for stakeholders to join hands in seeking solutions to the energy crisis that the country is currently facing. And Chief Chitoshi appealed to government to empower small-scale farmers with agricultural equipment to help enhance their yields.
A solar plant within my chiefdom here. It's high time we had to survey the land nearby Lubush there. So that plant, we are also playing to our Almighty God, in short, together with the government, to allow investors to come and put that plant so that you see, energy generation is not, it shouldn't be from hydro only, like what the head of state was putting it on the news to say we should look for other sources of energy. So us here, together with my subjects, we are thinking of having solar due to the place we have discovered, or rather we have surveyed, is good, receiving good sunlight to receive enough rainfall. Good rainfall for agriculture purposes, we are able to cultivate. What we are requesting from government is just having maybe some, or rather being empowered. Our subjects might be empowered in terms of agriculture equipments. Due to having a lot of rainfall here, so erosion and such kind of things, we thought of improving the road network. It has to be upgraded, and if the place is being developed like this, we thought of even network.
And finally, in our news, Zambia Safa team coach Chisimbewe is confident that his squad will successfully defend the COSAFA Cup title this year. And speaking shortly before departure to South Africa this morning for the championship, Mbewe said he hopes to lead Zambia to a strong potential third straight cup title by maintaining a disciplined and united team throughout the tournament. Mbewe, who was recently appointed to lead Zambia's COSAFA team at this year's Hollywood Bert's COSAFA Cup tournament, says there will be stiff competition from countries like Zimbabwe. And the two-time COSAFA Cup winner Albert Kangwanda, who is the captain of the side, said he aims to score more goals at this year's tournament than last year, where he scored 3 goals. Meanwhile, midfielder Kelvin Kapumbu says the tournament will not be easy for Zambia as defending champions, as other teams will want to get the better of Zambia.
Looks now set and ready to go and defend the title. Otherwise, so far so good. Stiff competition from our group. We have put the likes of Zimbabwe, who are always wanting to beat Zambia. But otherwise, like I mentioned, the team looks ready. We have psyched the players how important this task is, and how difficult this competition is. Knowing that we are the defending champions, I think mentally, physically, the team is ready.
I'd like to pick up from where I left last time. So going into the tournament, last time I finished with 3 goals, so I want to do more this time, and I'd like to help my nation, win another cup. The fans obviously would expect a win, and they would want us to come back with the trophy, and we have that in mind. First on the first game, which is against Kenya, a good start will make us, motivated. So our first game against Kenya, we just have to win, so that even the coming games, give us a good morale.
COSAFA series in your COSA. But in the champions, we are undefeated defender. So from the take on the team millions win.
Well, that sporting item brings us to the end of the news, but before I go, we look at the headlines once again. President Hichilema graces African Trade Insurance in Davao. Zambia International Trade Fair in Ndola opens gates to the public. Plus in sports news, Zambia national team off to South Africa for COSAFA. Well, on behalf of the entire production crew here at Zanis, thank you so much for staying with us. It has been Margaret Kangwa, and my sign language interpreter has been Imelda Mulea. Stay tuned.